Hello. In this video, I'll show you how to replace the headlamps on a Nissan Micra K11, specifically one of the later revised models that looks like this at the front. What a gorgeous beast. Now for this job, we will need a ratchet with a 10mm socket on the end. The little extension bar there is optional, but does come in handy. If you haven't got a ratchet, then an ordinary 10mm spanner will do just fine. We'll also need a large flat-headed screwdriver like that, somewhere to store the nuts and bolts that get removed so we don't lose those, possibly a squirt of WD-40, and of course, most important of all, a replacement headlamp, which you can get quite easily on eBay, either new or second-hand. Now today we're replacing the headlamp on the right side of the car, that one there. And the first thing we need to do is give ourselves as much room as possible to work behind it by removing this pipe. That's the one you fill the windscreen washer reservoir with. And to take that out, all we have to do is give it a twist and a pull. There we go. Nice easy start. Next we need to remove this bolt close to the wing there. And as you can see, we could remove it with a large cross-headed screwdriver, but it's far less likely to strip if we use the ratchet. So let's do that now. And this is where the little extension bar on the ratchet comes in handy. We now need to remove two 10mm nuts from behind the headlamp, and they're easy enough to find. To do so, just follow the arm down that holds the bonnet open, and then look down here. Now that is the first nut that needs to be removed, and the second nut is lowered down. Tricky to get the camera in, but I'll do my best. There it is, so that one needs to come out as well. And you'll also see there's a third nut there. That is nothing to do with today's job, so just leave that one alone. Anyway, let's get that one out, and the one above. Okay, there is the lower nut, safely in the magnetic tray. And now the higher of the two nuts. Nearly there. Good. So the headlamp is now loose in the car, as we can see, but it's not ready to come out yet because it's still held in position by a plastic clip, which is roughly there at the back of the headlamp, and that clip can be a little bit of a pain to undo, but nonetheless, we shall prevail. Now this clip can be a bit tricky to see, but you can find it if you look behind the headlamp, specifically down here somewhere. And what we're looking for is a green plastic clip. Can you see it just down there? It's the green plastic clip with a metal pin running through it. That needs to be undone. Now to release that clip, we need to do two things simultaneously. Number one, pull the headlamp forwards, like so, and then keep your hand here, just pull consistently with a reasonable amount of force on that corner. And while you're doing that, get your big flat-headed screwdriver and then just pop it down here and pry the clip open. And now if we just keep pulling and keep prying, then eventually the clip will release. There we go. So the headlamp is now more or less free. See? In fact, it's only connected to the car at all by the various bulb sockets and electrical connectors. There's one of the sockets, and well, there's one of the electrical connectors there. So all those things need to be undone, and then that'll be it. The headlamp will be off the car. So let's disconnect these bulb socket and electrical connectors, and we'll start down here with this one, which is the parking light. So simply twist that anti-clockwise, like so, and then pull it backwards. Oops, it's a lot easier when you're not holding a camera. Come on, out you come. There we are. And it's a similar story for the indicator bulb, which is down there. So again, just twist anti-clockwise and pull. There we are. And now we'll move on to the, there we are, the electrical connector for the main bulb. And to release that, you squeeze it at the sides, like so, and then again pull back, and off it comes. Finally, there's this one here, which I've already slightly loosened. And to take it out, you press and hold down that little tab, and simultaneously just push it up with a screwdriver until it pops out like that. And there we go. Now, it's possible, of course, that your new headlamp won't have a main bulb pre-installed. Not a big deal. Simply remove this dust cover, like so, and then you'll find this metal retaining clip, which to release you just push down, slide it to the right, and then fold it out the way, and then grab your shiny new bulb, pop it in, like that, replace the retaining clip. He says, come on, in you go. Don't be awkward. There we are. Pop the dust cover back on, like that. Now, there are no such issues with the indicator bulb and the parking light bulb, which go in there and there respectively, because they're still attached to the front of the car. That's not quite gone on properly, has it? Hang on. Come on, stop being a pain in the neck. There we are, that's better. And the only other thing I wanted to show you while we're down here is that awkward green clip we had to fiddle with to remove the headlamp. That is the stud that goes into the green piece of plastic, and if you really do find it difficult to get out, a little squirted WD-40 won't do any harm. So there we go. That's all the hard stuff done. All we have to do now is put the car back together, and as you might expect, that's simply the reverse of what I've already shown you. Right, the headlamp is now nice and secure, so let's see if it actually works. Turn on the ignition. To accessories anyway. All the lights. Main beam as well, and hazard warning for the indicator. Right, place your bets now. Yeah, that's fine. Now that's more or less it, but we do nonetheless have a couple of final points worth considering before we end the video. Now, as you know, we've been working on the right side of the car, where access behind is generally pretty good once this pipe was taken out, which I need to just pop back in actually. Well, there we go. But on the other side of the car, whereas the job is more or less the same, access behind isn't so good because you've got this fuse box and the battery, which make it harder to get to the nuts and things. So you may want to take out the battery if you're changing this headlamp here, and that's easy enough, of course. There's just this clamp which undoes with these two 10mm and then the terminals. It's also worth bearing in mind that at this point the headlight aim may be off. For example, the light may go too high or too low. Not a big deal, it can always be adjusted. Naturally, a garage has the equipment required to adjust the headlight aim so it's absolutely perfect, but nonetheless, you can have a reasonable go at it yourself by seeing where the light lands on the road and adjusting as required. Here's an adjustment screw. It's this little white thing down there that moves your light up and down, and you can turn that clockwise or anti-clockwise with a 6mm socket. So there you go. That's how to replace your headlamps in a late Nissan Micra K11. And I'll let you into a little secret, shall I? I've had to film this video over 3 days because I've been constantly interrupted. It's been unbelievable, one thing after the other. Anyway, there you go, done now. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.